Hi everyone, my name is Lesley Farnham and I have been a member of Woodlake Lutheran Church for 20 years now. And I was asked to share a bit about my experiences during this unique time that we're in during this pandemic. And so I'm taking a few minutes to do that with you all. I do miss seeing you all face to face, but I have enjoyed our virtual services that have been hosted by the church. So those are a great connection with my faith still. So how has my faith and life changed in the times of COVID? It's been obviously very different, not being able to go to church, not being able to go into work. I am still working, thankfully. I am in healthcare, and so is my husband. So we both are still working, and that does take a toll. In the early stages, when a lot of patients and folks were still coming into the clinic for Jim, he was having to come home and strip down and shower and do all of that. I have the fortune of being able to work from home. But I'm a recruiter in healthcare, so I'm trying to recruit nurses and aides and caregivers and the like to come in and help individuals. And some of them with COVID. We opened a COVID unit, and we are a faith-based organization that I work for, so finding folks that have the faith and the courage to care for those that might have this disease and put their own health and life at risk is not an easy task, but it's blessed work that we do. But it is different to have to do this from home and do Zoom calls and video calls and not be able to go into the communities like I normally would. Right here in Richfield, we operate in the Pines, and so not even being able to go in and say hello to my staff and the residents that are there. I have to stay out to help protect them. So that's very different. As a family, it's been different. My middle daughter, Nikki, that most of you know, she did a faith statement early on. She is in a high-risk category as a diabetic and asthmatic, and so great concern with that, and making sure that she's staying healthy and staying protected. And so part of that we did. We actually moved her out of the house. She moved a few blocks away and in with some friends that were sent home from school early, and that helps to keep her, like I said, because Jim has been going into the clinic every day, so that protects her in a way. So that's a bit of a change for us in these times. And another change, we will be, next week, we're going to be moving Abby out into North Carolina. So we're taking a road trip, and I'm going to be moving her down there. And that planning and doing that is unique as well, because not sure, having food with us and to stay, and just making it very trepidatious in how we approach taking that road trip. And bringing her to another state and leaving her there. She's an adult, but knowing that we won't be there if something were to go awry. And you all, as her faith family, she has grown up in the church in the last 20 years, and you've all seen her grow. But keep her in your prayers. Alex had to finish up school remotely, and to do that. And so my working full-time, Jim working full-time, and, a high school student trying to ensure that he's staying on top of his work. And he did well and did get through, but that was a challenging time as well. And still not knowing what's going to happen come fall. So lots of things have changed. But some of the things are better as well. More time at home and eating. All five of us, both Abby and Nikki were furloughed. And so, they would work evenings and weekends and things with their jobs. So nice, especially early on, that, sitting around the dinner table, all five of us, and having dinner and being family and playing games and watching movies and those kind of things. We've been, now that weather's, nice and things, we've been often having dinner in the backyard on our picnic table, still grilling and eating out and making s'mores and doing some of those camp things that we like to do, but had to do them in our backyard instead of necessarily going up to camp. Things are opening up, and we will with this road trip, and then thankfully Alex does get to do his Boy Scout camp. But it's been nice to have family time together a little bit more, and to just kind of slow down and really take into account what matters most. Family, faith, friends, and being there. So, yeah, things have some good, and some things, we wish, would go back to normal. I miss seeing some of my colleagues in the office. In my office, they've had to go through and rework all of our cubicles and add in higher dividers and things. We used to have them pretty low so that we could see and talk more, but we need to keep those put in barriers now, and so that's disheartening. That it's safety and health, but being a little bit further apart is going to be a challenge. Another area that has been challenging in these times was the killing of George Floyd. I grew up here in Richfield, and I grew up on Chicago Avenue. So knowing that, blocks away from where I grew up as a child, that this man was killed, was really tough. The justice that needs to be served and the changes that need to come in our community. It's been wonderful to see the reaction of the individuals here in our own community, as around the state and around the country and the whole world coming together for justice and peace has been fabulous. We as a family did go down and observe the area and pay respect, and drove down Lake Street. For my job, I used to partner, I say used to because a lot of them are affected, but we still will get back together. But I partnered quite a bit with the Indian Center that's there on Lake, Cappy, Clues, a lot of the support groups for different cultures and groups in that area. And we we're partnered with and speak with and help bring in those individuals to give them careers and jobs. And I have friends that live in that area, classmates that do, colleagues that do, staff of our own that live in that area, and seeing folks pull together and making sure that we could get them to our communities. Right next to where George Floyd's services were at North Central is the Augustana Care apartments, and our staff were out giving out water at Elliott Park and doing that because they are our neighbors. That is our neighbor. I also have a community, Redeemer Health, that's on 31st and Lyndale, one block off of Lake Street. And so as a company even, having those effects and feeling it, as well as personally, and it's given us an opportunity as a family to explore and discuss our privileges that we have, given the time in history that we, have been born and raised, and the opportunities before us, as well as the challenges that are out there. So, it's a lot of opportunity for growth and learning. And I'm proud of my kids. Both of the girls have gone to a couple of the protests and marches. Nikki being very good, they're being very cautious in masks and all of that, and doing that, but getting involved and being active civically and standing up and having purpose, and realizing that change needs to happen and equity needs to be for all. And that, our faith can be a part of that. So that's a big end. faith has carried me through many a hard time, so this is not an unusual thing for me to be going. It's unusual to be going through this current time, but not unusual for me, to be turning to my faith. I lost my mother young, and so I had to turn to God. I was very upset at her passing and Him taking her and leaving me as a young girl without a mother. So it really gave me a lot of time to reflect and go through and to turn inward and to turn to my faith and find my faith. I found my faith then, and I have throughout my life turned back to it quite a bit. And a big part that really keeps me going is Bible verse Romans 15, verse 13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. Hope is something that God gives us, and I think that that's what will carry us through. And I know as a congregation, our congregation as the whole ELCA, and as we approach these times and work to do things diligently, innovatively, and to keep our faith, that we will get through this. We will grow from it. We will learn from it. We're going to make mistakes along the way, but we will make it through this. So thank you all for listening, and thank you all for being my faith family. And I wish you well. Stay safe, wear a mask, and remember, tell those that you love them that you do.